At this time, we'll call to order the regular City Council meeting for May 9th, 2022. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk Deaton, let the roll call show all council members are present. And we're on to the approval of the minutes, April 25th, 2022.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Hanson, go ahead.
I wanted to amend the minutes if possible. During our comments in regards to the tennis courts changing, I'd also inquired if we had asked our contractor about lifting and leveling, and we were advised by the contractor that that was not necessary.
Thank you. Councilmember Kibble?
I've got an amendment as well.
Okay.
On page 4, the second line from the bottom of the manager's report section. It should read, there was literal gravel, wow, my was already closing up, along the curbs through the downtown. We need to be better at looking forward and getting things prepped so when we have an event, we present ourselves in the best light. When we know we're going to have foot traffic downtown, we need to dress the place up, and it only comes by getting mud and garbage out of the curb pan. This is 101 stuff, and I hope we end up improving that. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Kennedy.
I'll move the minutes as amended.
I'll support. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Approval of the bills. Councilmember Kennedy.
I'll move the bills.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Kennedy, supported by Councilmember Moser. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Approval of the agenda. Councilmember Kivel.
I'll move the agenda. I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Tonight's consent agenda, West Liberty Street closure during farmers markets. Councilmember Kurtzwell.
Thank you. I move the consent agenda as presented by the mayor.
I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. At this time, we will open the floor for public comment. Please remember to state your name and address, and also remember that we have a 2-minute time limit. Okay, we will close public comment at this time and move on to the discussion of downtown with DDA Director Nate Mack.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Council. So we had a pretty busy weekend downtown Friday and Saturday. So Friday night was Ladies' Night Out, the spring version of the event. Overall, from what I heard, the event was pretty successful. We were able to get the streets closed for the event, and there were quite a few people downtown shopping in our stores. So it was good to see that, and hopefully, we can continue to work on improving that event so that we can make it even better as we go ahead. Also on Saturday, the farmers market had its opening day. Both parking lots were full for the market. We had 2 food trucks. Both were sold out by like 12:30 or 1 o'clock. I heard from one of the vendors I spoke with this morning that said that they had sold more by 10 o'clock than they normally do in like a month. So a lot of kudos need to go to Diana Regan, our new market manager. She's done a fantastic job of working, to fill both parking lots this year, and I think it's going to be, we're going to see that throughout the course of the season. I'd also like to thank the council for voting to approve the closure of Liberty Street. I think that's just going to be safer for, pedestrians and citizens as they're down patronizing the market. Last week on Thursday, the city manager and I attended the Main Street Oakland County Main event, and at that event, we were recognized for moving up to partner level in the Main Street program. So that's, the second thing I've been talking about it for months. So just happy that we were able to get that done, and now we can continue to move forward with that. But other than that, next week I'll be out of the office. I'll be at the National Main Street Conference in Richmond, Virginia, so looking forward to attending that as well. The DDA Board Chair, Derek Mashburn, is going to be attending as well. So if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Councilmember Kennedy.
Just congratulations again, Nate, on reaching the partner level there. I think that's tremendous. We've talked about that means increased support from the Main Street program for the city and them covering the cost on a lot of that additional support. So congratulations.
Thanks.
Councilmember Kimball.
Have you been interconnected with the 110 Detroit Street, with this pushing forward? Have you talked to those people?
Not too much. I know that's been, there's been some stuff in the courts with that, so I've kind of let that run its course.
I know that city manager has had conversations with them. I was just kind of curious if you had any conversations and trying to relationship build with them.
I have not had any conversations with them.
I mean, there's plenty of time. They've got a lot to do. I was curious. Thank you.
Councilmember Kurtzwell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of things. First of all, I want to thank DPW, the workers that are assisting on the event planning in the downtown area. I think it's important to understand that we have gentlemen over there with young families, and somebody gave up their Friday night to make sure that the closures got in place at 4 o'clock and they were taken down at 10 o'clock. And then, so their Friday night with their families was spent for an event in the downtown area. Well, when I made that comment to an individual, just reminding them of how incredible our DPW was, the response was, well, I'm sure they're getting paid overtime. That's not the issue. You're missing the point. The point is that we have a very family-oriented community, and our employees are very, very family-committed individuals. And I just want people to understand the sacrifices that these men, and it's men over there in the DPW, that are making to ensure that these events for the DPW are going off. They're sacrificing their family time. Your family time is spent going to the events. Their family time is spent, cleaning out the trash bins the following day on a Saturday and taking down the barricades at 10 o'clock at night when most people are at home with their families. They're out here working. And then to turn around the following day and put up the barricades for the farmers market. So, and then take them down because you were closing off Liberty Street. Mm-hmm. So I just want to say that we have the most incredible, committed department of employees that are standing behind all these events that we have in town. And I would love to go over there someday and thank them personally, but I don't want to interfere in their work. But please pass along, and I'm sure all of us on council feel the same way in the DDA. So thank you so much for their incredible commitment to these events that are very successful. The next point is on the sponsorship for the farmers market. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to make an announcement that you need more sponsors.
Yes.
Okay. So why don't you make a pitch for sponsors? I paid my money tonight, so why don't you use your time and make a pitch why somebody out there should be a sponsor of the farmers market?
Right now?
Do it.
All right, I'll do it right now.
Do it. Don't waste this time.
Right, so, the Southland Farmers Market is growing tremendously this year. So, for comparison's sake, we had about 15 to 20-ish vendors on average at the market every week last year. This year, we've grown to 31 seasonal vendors. We're going to average anywhere from 45 to 50 vendors per week at the market. I talked to the market manager this morning and asked her, about how many people she thought came through the market, and she said it was probably in the thousands with the number of people that were coming through. So the sponsorship board that we have up for the farmers market is right along Lafayette. It's a very visible spot in the downtown. People walk by it, drive by it all day, and as the farmers market's going on, people are walking by that as well. So it's great visibility for anyone's business should they wish to support the farmers market. And the sponsorship's relatively cheap. It's $250 for a new sponsor and $225 for a returning sponsor to have one of the smaller rectangles that are up on the board.
And how do they get information to you as to what they put on the sign?
We have the sponsor application on our website, southlandfarmersmarket.org, so you can go there, get the application, you can fill that out, email it back to me. You can either come to City Hall and pay at City Hall, or if you'd like to mail a check to City Hall, you can do that as well.
Okay, then but I've already paid my check. I didn't fill out a form.
Okay.
So do I just email you as to what I want on the sign? Is that what people do, or?
Yeah, people email us a copy of their logo that we can
Okay.
that we can have printed for them.
And how many more sponsors do you need?
We have about, let me think here, 16-ish on the board, 16 spaces on the board, I think, approximately. So,
16 left?
yes,
Okay. Let's try to get those filled by the end of the week.
sounds good.
Councilmember Dill.
Thank you. I just wanted to carry through on that. Can you tell people what you need the support for, so they know, what the money's going for?
Yeah, the funds help to operate the farmers market. So we have to pay our market manager. We do different promotional events throughout the course of the season. We have some costs as far as printing goes for advertisements for the market. And yeah, it just goes to help keep the market going during the season.
Great, thank you. That's all.
Anyone else have anything for Nate tonight? All right, thanks for the update.
Thanks.
Move on to the fire chief report, and filling in tonight, Lieutenant Conrad.
Good evening, Council. I'm Lieutenant Conrad, representing the fire department tonight. So we've had 362 incidents thus far since the beginning of the year, 40 total incidents since this last city council meeting. 4 were false alarms, 35 were EMS calls, and 1 was a public service. Our training consisted of rapid intervention, which is simulating the rescue of a downed firefighter. And we did some power tool familiarization. And we also had a technical rescue at the water treatment plant. Our fire burn building is finally complete. The interior is finished, so we plan on doing some training over there in the next week or so. And the fire inspector had 4 site plans, 1 building plan, 3 event reviews, 1 annual inspection, 2 flush tests, 2 hydro tests. So he's been super busy. No recent smoke alarm install requests. This is usually our quiet time, picks up in the fall. We have started hydrant testing, which will run through the summer. We have about 626 hydrants to do. So, thank you.
Anyone have anything for Lieutenant Conrad? All right, thank you, great job. Move on to the police chief report, and Chief Sobick.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Several items for you. We participated in the DEA take-back last weekend. 15 boxes of unused and unwanted prescription drugs, 179 pounds worth. Took it down to the DEA for incineration this last week. Along with that, the Sharps box has been very active collecting unused, unwanted needles. 2 full bins, and so we have boxes for those, so that has been a great addition to our arsenal, if you want to call it so. Our administrative assistant, Brianne, was her last day Friday, and so we are currently taking applications to try and fill her position. In the meantime, we're all trying to pitch in and try and figure out how she did what she did in the meantime, so. Our mock assessment for accreditation occurred last Wednesday, about a 6-hour-long process. We had about, I think, 10 observers. We had 5 assessors and 6 observers because other agencies are also going through the process as well. They go over certain things with a fine-tooth comb, saying you can do this, maybe you need to do this and make changes. We fared very well, I think, for a mock assessment, only because of our accreditation sergeant, Christopher Sheetland. His attention to detail and he's a pit bull on certain things, and so he stays at things until they get done. So, what's normally going to take, most agencies a little over 2 years, he's pretty much gotten accomplished in a little over a year because he's a nonstop at it. So he's working out great for us. So we will apply for our accreditation probably in September of this year, and then we'll go from there. We are seeking more applications for the 2 cadets. We want to hire cadets, and then when Ashley goes to the academy, but we have not received any applications for cadets as of yet. We've only accepted 2 applications for the police officer eligibility list, so we knew we were going to struggle with that as other agencies are as far as recruitment and training, so that's a big deal. So we'll take a look at some people as they come in, and so hopefully we'll be ready to go by July 1st. We are having a meeting for the first responder monument tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock at Corner Social. I guess the crew is all going to be there, and Bob Donahue scheduled the event. So I will hope to give you some more details on the process and what's going to be coming up for the next city council meeting. Right now we have just over $7,200 in that fund right now, and so I'll probably have some more answers for your questions at the next city council meeting as far as materials used and what the plan is going forward. So. The speed and radar signs have been placed out. Right now, there's one on North Hagedorn and 2nd Street along on North Mill, and we're going to be swapping them out from area to area in certain subdivisions throughout the summer. And our cadet recruit, Ashley, she passed her physical, passed her psychological today, and so she is ready to go. She will be starting the academy in July of this year, and so been a pretty busy couple weeks for us, but that's all I have for you this evening. If you have some questions, I'm happy to.
Chief, I'm glad you brought up the fundraiser. I brought my coins in tonight with Memorial Day coming up on the horizon. Would you mind just quickly reminding everyone what they can do to participate in the fundraiser?
Yeah, well, actually, if you want to come in, if you want to purchase a coin, the fire department has one, and so do we. And those are $25 each. Anything that any donation goes to that. Or if you just want to certainly donate, you can write a check out to the the city of South Lyon, and in the memo line, put under the first responder. It's not a memorial fund. It's a monument fund in that line. So you can donate, write a check. You can drop it off to City Hall, or you can drop it off to the police and fire department. So we'll be more than happy to take that. So there's ways to participate if you like.
Thank you. I appreciate you picking me up on that. I didn't want to get any of that wrong.
Yep.
So thanks. Does anyone else have anything for Chief Sovic this evening? Councilmember Kurtzwell.
I had 2 items. The first one deals with, and I'm glad Lieutenant Conrad is here tonight. I thought that the Culture Arts Commission assisted the fire department on putting together a recruitment poster. And I don't know how successful that was, or if it worked out well, I don't know. But I would think that if you are interested, I have a contact with the Culture Arts Commission and could see if they would be interested in assisting on putting together a recruitment poster for cadets. Just identify your audience, where you want it to go. Maybe it's too late for this year, but at least give them a project. They've got some extremely talented individuals on that commission that would help with doing a recruitment poster. So I don't know if that helps or not.
Sure.
I also saw in the manager's minutes report that that it's expected that the SRO agreement with the schools will also be on a future council agenda. Where are we with that?
Well, we are anticipating that as well. We know that we're probably going to, we have been in dialogue with them as far as coming up to an agreement as far as a deal that we think is fair. The number that we presented with them, we do feel that is very far in addition to the other services that we provide that we don't charge them for. So we've been dialoguing back and forth. I just had a meeting with City Manager today, Lieutenant Bakke and Patricia, and so we should be sending them a response to one of their inquiries about some of the services that we've offered. We should be meeting with them sometime very soon, but they assured us that they will have an answer for us, whether or not they're going to approve that by the date that you guys approve our budget. So I'm confident that it will get worked out.
Well, my only comment on that is, what are they concerned about the price? Does that seem to be what the issue is?
I'm not really sure if it's the price. I think when you compare what they wanted to be giving as compared to other jurisdictions, I think they're looking for more of a quote partnership as far as one of the concerns is that there are some jurisdictions that's just split at 50-50. We know that the police department pays 50%, or the police department pays 50% and the school pays 50% for the time that person's in the year. There are other jurisdictions that pay 100% to the city when the school officer is in there 9 months of the year. So we're talking percentages, and so we're still kind of back and forth. There was we interpreted their numbers as something differently, so we're still trying to get clarification on that, and I think that that's going to get worked out here very shortly. It's just, I think it's just the partnership aspect of it,
What do you mean the partnership?
as to how much of the 70, if the officer's going to be in there 9 months out of the year, they're maybe looking for a 75-25 split
But,
for the,
well, wait a minute. The critical thinking on this issue was not done at the school district. It was done here. The critical analysis was done by Patricia, the city manager, you, and members of city council. And that critical analysis, as I understood it, was everybody had input here in the city. We have been working since December on this issue, came together with a number that covered our costs in terms of what it would take to take that officer and put it over in the schools. And we all agreed on what that number was. So the critical analysis was done here. Their decision is binary, either yes or no.
correct.
Am I correct?
Yes, I agree. I think the number that we presented, that we all agreed on, is a very fair number, and we have several points of argument as to think why that it is, so I think that it's very fair, and I think it'll get done before our budget approval date.
Well, additionally, I think the analysis also needs to include, which maybe they're not willing to do over there, is that we have a 6.2 million budget, maybe? I mean, that's our budget. And out of our budget, 42% is police. They have a budget, I don't know, $160, $180 million. They have a school bond that is $1/10 billion. They are receiving millions and millions of dollars from the state for COVID. They're still getting money. So who is more capable of paying? The little city with the tiny little revenue that we have? Or is it the school district? And I've said this before. I can find the money. But I sure am not going to back off of that number. And here's more of a reason why I'm only one vote, but I'm not going to back off. And I'll tell you why. Because our union officers bargained very hard for the salary that they got in those contracts. That school district is looking at a union law enforcement officer. And it is offensive to me that they would degrade that officer's pay, that they have worked hard to bargain for, and say, you're not worth the money that the city proposed. We think you're only worth that. That is offensive to me. That union officer is entitled to be paid exactly what that contract calls for. And that is my understanding when I spoke with you, is to make sure that every contract issue was covered in that number, because those contracts need to be honored.
It is. That's the number that we're asking for. That's the number that we...
I wouldn't dare go over to that school district and say to the union teachers, take a cut in pay. They bargained hard for those union contracts, and they deserve the money that they bargained for. Last, they're getting a school resource officer covering 2 schools.
Absolutely.
That resource officer is not doing 1 school. That resource is doing 2 schools. Where's the partnership? There's the partnership right there. You're getting 2 schools covered literally for the price of 1. So I'm disappointed. You have a yes or a no decision to make. We couldn't have made it any easier. The critical thinking was already done. It was done here, done very well, very accurate. And I've heard a lot about this over the past 2 weeks from teachers and parents that are, I'm not going to say on the record what they're telling me, but they're disappointed that this issue can't be closed. And it's not a partnership. That's language that was used 10 years ago. Nowadays, it's called risk management. Risk management. It's their line item. It's their risk. So, thank you for that information, and I hope we have a good result.
Councilmember Kennedy.
Just for the benefit of the audience and those watching the video, the other part that goes into that when we talk about, splitting the cost of that officer 75, 25, or whatever the desired breakout happens to be, is that's an operating expense for the school system. This is no different than them providing food service, janitorial service, maintenance on their facilities, etc. We already pay for those things with our school taxes, and every resident in this city pays school tax, and all the surrounding communities that are members of that community school system pay their school tax. To come to the city and say, we want you to pay an additional 25% is to basically tell the voters in the city of South Lyon, please pay twice. We're already paying once. We pay your money for your operating expenses. We expect you to cover that cost out of that portion of the budget. That's all. Just want to pass that along so people understand. We're not against having the SRO. We are against having the voters and the residents and the property tax owners in the city have to pay twice for their benefit. Thanks.
Councilmember Kibble.
Just a little one. I trust your skills with talking with them. I don't think we should be lighting fires before something blows up. Come back with us when you got their answer, and then we can talk more about this.
Councilmember Kurtzwell, go ahead.
I don't think anybody's lighting a fire. I think what people are doing is being very direct and cutting to the chase. Business decision people who make business decisions make them a little bit differently than educators do. I've been around it. I know what's going on. And sometimes you just got to call it the way you see it. And if that offends people, that's too bad, because maybe this is what you need to hear. Because there's a lot of parents out there, and there's a lot of school teachers out there that are extremely, extremely upset that this deal has not closed. You got to start thinking about the people that work for you. Thank you. Yep.
Anyone else have anything for Chief Sovic tonight? Thanks, Chief. Great update. Well, we have a special presentation this evening in regards to the South Lyon Historic Village. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Mr. Bob Pulaski to the microphone. And Bob, if you need me to adjust that microphone so we can hear you, I can do that as well.
Okay, I probably won't need the microphone. I may need assistance with this, though.
I'll tell you what, I didn't know that we were going to go with the full projector, but I'm going to help out with that really quick. You know what? How about this? Can I entertain a motion for a 5-minute recess?
Move for a 5-minute recess.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
My apologies. I should have reached out.
I'll bring the screen down.
That's a good sound.
Well, on my Adobe, I can flip pages, but on this one, it's a free app, so you can't.
Anything you need help with?
So if I have it at home, I can.
So you can watch it right on your computer. Is that what you?
Yeah.
Oh, you little techs over here.
But the problem is I can't flip it, so it's like,
Because this version of Adobe won't let you flip a PDF.
Oh.
But the one I have on my work computer, you can.
Oh.
So usually what I do is I open it up at home. I open it up on my home computer, flip them, and then mail it back to myself.
it's like I only need a proportion page. This should just bring this
Well, can't your work computer flip it?
up.
I'll flip it for you from now on.
We're not.
You're a bank.
No, they're not. They're not a bank.